And we are live. Welcome to MLB Live Before Lock, Friday, September 19th. We've got 12 games today. One of them stands out quite a bit from the hitting side. One pitcher stands out quite a bit. We're going to break down all of that. I am Josh Engelman. This is Eric Lindquist. My wife is FaceTiming me right now. Terrible timing. Couldn't have been worse. No, cancel. Don't ever call back. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow us both on Twitter. What's going on, man?
Not much. That's great. I totally know the feeling. It's just like you haven't heard from her all day, probably. And it's just like you're just sitting there getting shit done. You click the live button and immediately it's so loud on your end. At least technology's like advanced to a place where like nobody would have noticed. Nobody would have cared. Like, it's just an annoyance to you. And that's the kind of stuff. My mom does that all the time to me. I'll start a show like Live Before Lock, NFL Live Before Lock on Sunday, back-to-back Sundays. She calls me as if I'm not doing anything or she doesn't know my life for the last 5 years. But, you know, such is life.
Yeah. To be fair, she had no idea that I was going live right now. She didn't think that I had a show. This was new for her today. But even still. No, I just felt like the left side of my face lit up when I looked down. It was because it was just I was staring back at me in the FaceTime screen.
Oh, it's great.
All righty. You want to talk some baseball?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a fun slate for what it's worth. It's just going to be annoying if you're on the wrong side of one thing. That's for sure. Garrett Crochet is popular. I'm just going to say. What you do with Garrett Crochet today could echo through an eternity because this is a AAA ballpark. And, oh, man, it's now 8.5 everywhere, Josh. Strikeout is 8.5. And I played the over.
I couldn't find a single negative that made me think that he wasn't getting exactly what he should be getting for this slate. Although it is nice to see Dylan Cease climbed up to that number 2 spot from this morning. I do like him quite a bit today as well and think that he's underrepresented. But yeah, Crochet looks great. I'm sure he'll just go out there and walk 6 batters like Yamamoto did.
Dude, unbelievable slate yesterday. Just to like recap for the people as we were talking through it. Fuck. I mean, if we were going back and forth between Quinn Priester or Hunter Green. We were on the right side. Obviously, Hunter Green beat him by 20, but you kind of wanted both. And then Max Fried came in with 13 Ks against Baltimore out of the middle of nowhere after we just basically said no upside. And I'm very thankful I did not bet the under 5.5 strikeouts. I had enough bad bets yesterday. So I'm looking for a little bit of a bounce back. So it is what it is. Lindy turned 18 today. Yes, I did turn 18. Finally.
I thought this was your quinceañera.
I would make a joke right now. I'm not going to. That to myself. You would say it out loud, and I respect you for that, but I'm going to keep it to myself.
Depends on the day. Okay. Honestly, though, we've got a lot to talk about today. I don't think there's a ton to say for Garrett Crochet. He's miles ahead of everybody else in top 2 pitcher odds. He's 49% owned. I think he deserves every bit of that. The question becomes, do we find enough other guys that allow us to not have to just hitch our entire wagon to Garrett Crochet? I mentioned Dylan Cease, but if we're talking about guys you can pay up for, Brian Wu is sitting at 10K, Cease is at 9,800, Hunter Brown at 9,500, Pablo Lopez at 9K. I don't think I need to mention Trevor Rogers here at 8,900. He is pulling absolutely nothing, but maybe we'll talk about it. What do you like in the pay up side if it's not Crochet?
Yeah, if it's not Crochet, it's probably nothing up here other than maybe a little bit of Hunter Brown, a little bit of Dylan Cease, just to like get different and save the money. The main thing that I'm bringing up is that we have obviously a Coors Field slate and 10-5 for a pitcher. If Garrett Crochet gives up 3 earned and goes 9 Ks, like, is that still what you want? Is that still where you're going with certain things? Push and pull of it, but like, he should be 12-5 to some extent. Like, I don't know what I've talked about this every slate that he's been on for all season long. Last year, his K rate was going to come down significantly from where he was at as a baseline, just purely because he was going from being somebody who pitched like 3-4 innings with the White Sox. And he basically said, if I get traded somewhere, you better have a contract waiting for me. Otherwise, I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to pitch for you. And so no teams traded for him at the deadline. He basically just kind of kicked rocks for a while. And that's going to be what happens. But he's going from 35% to 31.5%. And we have like 5 months of watching this guy. And there's just no planet. There's no case you can make for not having Garrett Crochet be the main guy here. And then, oh yeah, we don't have like the two best batters, obviously left on left, Brandon Lau, whatever, like the two dangerous bats that you would have in this one between him and Junior Caminero not being in the lineup today, getting Christopher Morel batting third. It's unavoidable, but the push and pull of the slate is simply like, is there anything else to deviate off of Garrett Crochet with? Because everybody is doing what we're doing and just jamming him. And it's like, all right, is this just the kind of slate we're going to play where it's like he puts up 20 and everybody's going to be just fine with it because whatever, but like he's projected for more because he's probably going to put up more. It's just a ridiculous slate with him specifically.
Yeah, the real crazy part for him is that he's the 5th best top 2 value arm at 10-5. And that's what's really causing this issue. And you alluded to it before. I'm going to try to sell you on Dylan Cease.
Okay. Well, the strikeout prop's nice.
Yeah. A lot of this.
Nolan Schanuel leading off today. He's even back with the Angels today. That's weird. I didn't even notice that. Angels lineup drop. So I'm pasting that over. Adele batting 5th. Fuck off. I hate the Angels.
That's silly.
Awful. Whatever.
That's silly. Obviously, big time K rate for Dylan Cease. Lefties touch him a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Park's fine. No real downside. If we're talking about matchup, we're talking about a White Sox team 24th in WRC plus against righties. We're talking about a team with a 147 ISO. That is 25th. Strikeout rate's nothing crazy, but I don't need a great strikeout matchup here. The appeal to me is I don't really know what the downside is to a $9,800 Cease. He's got a 3.7 run implied total, 0.4 of a run behind Garrett Crochet, but he's only 14% owned. I mean, we have his top 2 pitcher odds at 18%. Feels like a safe-ish spot. What's the negative here for Cease?
He walks a lot of people from time to time. He finds ways of just entertaining you, if you will. His appeal of like not pitching deep into games is, I mean, it's just an outright problem. And I'm with you. I've probably played Dylan Cease and bet Dylan Cease more than just about anybody this year. It is not a fun experience. You watch this guy in person, he'll have 15 pitch at bats where he just simply, it's like, throw something out of the zone for a second and let this guy chase or do something. He tries to be perfect at times out on the mound, and it's just really frustrating. He also is just, again, what's his outs prop at here at the moment? Because like, that's always been my thing is he's had like 15, 16 and a half pitching outs. And then he'll have like 7.5 strikeout props, 8.5 strikeout prop against Colorado for what it's worth. But like, there's just so many times that I've analyzed this guy and it's just been a disaster. I mean, 16.5 is his outs prop today. I mean, that's just kind of wild for a 9,800 guy to not have full security of 18 total outs. Like that's just
fair.
It's difficult. That's always my push and pull with Dylan Cease, but I'm with you where I've probably played him more than most. But like, I think when you look at that specifically, and then the White Sox without a lot of their main strikeout bats, specifically Luis Robert, who hasn't been in the lineup forever, it's just not that appealing of a strikeout matchup.
No disagreement there. They're a middle of the pack strikeout team. I just more than anything, I'm finding appeal in the ownership number because I'm not a huge fan of Woo here at 10K. I prefer Cease.
I think he's the worst play on the slate for what it's worth.
I
like
fine
Brian
with that
Woo.
Assessment. Same.
Yeah.
I like Hunter Brown a lot. It's just a horrific matchup against Seattle. It's not like I'd rather just not have Hunter Brown or Seattle and hope that game is quiet than like taking a stand on either side just because I'm nervous there. And Pablo Lopez is Pablo Lopez. I don't really have much to add to him. The guys that I want to pay up for are Crochet and Cease, but that's not what happens when I run a sim. I just get Crochet. Full stop across the board. Can't get away from him. So that leads us to what I think is the more interesting question. which is who is the SP2 du jour, which is interesting because Dylan Cease is the second most owned guy today. Brian Wu is the third most owned guy today, and Hunter Brown is the fourth most owned guy today. The first time you pay down for someone, you get a guy with an 8.5% top two pitcher odds and a 12% ownership in Will Warren, who is not in a great spot for the problems that he has. Ryan Nelson is in the same range. Brandon Sproat is in the same range. What do you like a pay down today? Because I was having some trouble finding something I liked.
We got a couple of them. I want to point out one thing. I'm not a narrative-based guy. I'm not anything. Clayton Kershaw is going to throw his arm off the last couple of games. Yeah. I'm a big Clayton Kershaw fan today. He is 7K. The love and adoration he is going to get at Dodger Stadium, and I will be at this game tonight, so that's fun too. Nice. Yeah, I'll be at the box for the game tonight. But Clayton Kershaw is 7K, and it is going to be chill worthy when he goes out to the mound. And he has nothing left to lose. I mean, this guy's been hurt throughout his entire second half of his career. And I get that he hasn't been the same version of himself. But I would be shocked if we didn't see a little bit of a velocity tick up tonight, both with what's going on. This will be a second to last ever regular season start. And Clayton Kershaw, I think, has enough in the tank when you can just let it go as a pitcher. We've started to see this, I think, a little bit with Justin Verlander in the last month or so. And it's like a combination of narrative based and everything else based, but I think I'm going to be a big, looking at some bets that I've just had circled for Clayton Kershaw today. I think they are going to let him roll today. And it's difficult when you don't have your normal caddy out there. I mean, Will Smith's been dinged up, and that's kind of what it is. But I really don't care. It's 7K Clayton Kershaw with an entire ballpark behind him that will be into every single pitch of every single moment. And part of me just thinks about that and being in the stadium tonight and feeling that, I know it's going to be ridiculous. And he's just 7K. So that's the guy that I'm gravitating towards because it is low ownership. I'm there. And I just think there is enough that we've seen now where we might see something surprising against a San Francisco team that isn't exactly strikeout immune.
I led off today's strategy show by saying exactly what you just said now.
Oh, that's fun. That's so fun. Well, I'm going to be there. So I win.
Yeah. I was just he's 7K. It's his last planned start in Dodger Stadium. In theory, that could, happen again, but doesn't have to. 5% owned? Come on. You got to take that chance, right?
Yeah. So Yobao, good greens. Love the avatar. I think that's a chick in the middle of a skull. That's pretty chill. But anyway, Giants smash Kershaw. Look at the ownership. He's 5%. That's the thing. We're trying to make a case for somebody to pair with Garrett Crochet. And in single entry, I'm playing 300 lineups tonight for what it's worth. I'm going to be leaving in an hour and a half or so. We're going to dinner and, it'll be pretty chill. But she, came out an hour ago and was just hey, by the way, we got the box for tonight. I'm all right, cool. That's great. 7K Clayton Kershaw. It just makes too much sense to me to not take the shot just about every single time. If he was 8K, okay. I think Jacob Mizrowski's pretty interesting, just kind of as a result of that too. Is this exactly where you went? Those are my two guys that I'm just boosting. Yeah. I think this is a day where you play your guys, and Clayton Kershaw is not one of my guys. I don't know if he's ever been really, other than just he seems like a chill dude and religious and a nice guy. But Jacob Mizrowski has filthy stuff. They just really put the kitty gloves on him at random times, and you never really know what you're getting. St. Louis isn't very good. He's coming off of 108 pitches, but 75 was basically them limiting. And that was kind of the thing I had said to Discord last time around, where I was I would be shocked if we saw Jacob Mizrowski go over 80 pitches last time out, coming off of 108. It was just so abnormal, so not what Milwaukee's been doing with him or Brandon Woodruff. And I think it goes somewhere back to the middle there. 85, 90 pitches. He's got 101 mile per hour stuff with a 91 mile per hour breaking offering. This is a ridiculous arm talent, and you're getting him with no ownership because everybody thinks he's automatically going to pitch just 75 pitches. What if it's in the middle of the two outcomes? And that's kind of what this is like we're trying to make cases for guys. It's a lot easier when they're low owned already, and then you can make the case for their upside. It's really hard when they're already popular, and then you can make such an easy case for their downside. That's the way I usually think about these kind of things.
Yeah, like Kershaw's got a 4.1 run implied total for the Giants today. Will Warren's at 4.6. Jansen Junk's at 4.5. Ryan Nelson's at 4.9. All of those guys are more owned than Clayton Kershaw today. Mizorowski's coming in at 3.8. Between Kershaw at 5% and Mizorowski at 7.5%. Like, I'm much more interested in them than Will Warren at 12% or Ryan Nelson at 10%. I'm terrified of Will Warren today. I certainly see the appeal, but
I see no
that can go bad.
So pull up his splits. Go to add more funds. Show the people Will Warren. He is the number one offender of splits. Holy shit. Wait for it to update. Just wait for it. Here you go. I mean, I don't find Will Warren very appealing. This is a team that can platoon and do whatever they want to now. They got all of their healthy pieces back. They have Dylan Carlson, Tyler O'Neill on the bench, Jorge Mateo, another righty who is fast as shit on the bench. And they're just going lefty. And you get Mountcastle. I think we can all agree Mountcastle's an above average righty. So yeah, 29.3% K rate against righties. It's good if you're going to face a lineup full of them, but there's two of them. And then, I guess Kobe Mayo as well. So yeah. I mean, it's a spot for me for Will Warren. I guess it helps to have enough arm talent. Like, he's in an all right spot with some of these righties, I suppose. But like, I just look at the lefties here, and I'm far more it's far more appealing for me to take that shot if people are going to be making him your SP2.
I agree. So we've landed a bit on Kershaw. We've landed a bit on Mizorowski. There's not really anybody taking on any ownership outside of Crochet, so I don't necessarily have anybody else that I think like really deserves a big conversation. Are we missing anybody else here? Should we be touching on anybody? We've got Sonny Gray sitting there at 8,700. Feels like he's kind of going completely under the radar. Pablo Lopez to a degree, I guess, going slightly under the radar. I'd probably prefer Sonny Gray a bit there. But the bottom of our top pitchers tool, man, this is straight garbage. Blaylock, Alvarez, cheap. Martin, Ferris, awful.
I just updated everything because I didn't have Nolan Schanuel in the lineup today. No. I don't know what I missed. I think this is his first game back in forever. Yeah. So August 23rd, his last game. So I just updated everything. Nolan Schanuel's 3,500. What are we actually doing with our lives leading off here? Lefty in Coors, and this is just ridiculous now. So what's happening is I'm starting to get some more expensive shots that I can take, not necessarily having to play as much Kershaw as what I was planning on. The guy I keep landing on is on the other side of that game in Robbie Ray. I don't care that he owns Dodger Stadium. I've heard that narrative tons of times for Robbie Ray. His strikeout stuff, I've taken his unders a lot over the course of the last 2 months, and it's treated me pretty darn well. He is going to face enough in the Dodger lineup that's obviously going to make you really hold your breath, but he is sub 5% against a team that he is very, very familiar with. And usually, there's like a small fractional thing. Fangraphs had an article talking about like, seeing a pitcher however many times and what sample size does it start to matter? Because I've never factored BVP in my life. But the familiarity kind of goes both ways. This is a guy who is a veteran. He is a Cy Young winner. He has done multiple things very, very well throughout his big league career. One of them has always been a problem, has been the walks. And that's always kind of the risk you're running. But nobody's playing Robbie Ray today. Like, nobody is playing Robbie Ray. And so, like, we're basically trying to make a case for, like, anybody to pair with Garrett Crochet throughout over and over and over again. So I don't see how Robbie Ray against the Dodgers, who are obviously a terrifying matchup, but there are strikeouts available. And, we did get the Dodger lineup already. Teoscar Hernandez is batting third like you would expect him to now that he's back to life to some extent. But, like, that's more strikeouts available for us when we have Shohei Ohtani around 25%, Teoscar Hernandez around 25%, Pages 21. It gets a little bit ridiculous when you start looking at the other pieces, but like those are higher up in the order guys that you're going to see 3 times in any normal outing. And that just makes him look better to me than what I think the field is encapsulating.
Yeah, it's just always a little scary when you're running in Dodger Stadium, but the ownership that's on Ray right now doesn't make me feel scared or anything. Like you can carve that out pretty easily. I mean, 3.8%. Look, 5.2 run implied total is, you don't typically see that on Robbie Ray, but that's a function more of just, the park is probably tacking on an extra half to that just by default. I don't necessarily think that's as representative as what the ownership is showing. So I'm with you there.
All right. Yeah.
I certainly don't want to say most of these names, though. Walker Buehler?
Nope.
5K?
Dude, he's
Bradley
so
Blaylock?
Bad. He's so bad. I would rather punch myself in the dick than play Bradley Blaylock, if we're being honest. I think it'd be a better time.
2.6% chance of being a top 2 value, just in case you're interested.
I'm not. Andrew Alvarez, I thought I would maybe be interested in diving through it. And the more I looked at it, the more I said, I'm good. I'm actually good. I thought hey, let's go to the very, very bottom, play some different stacks. And boy, do I hate the complexion of those lineups. And, you just kind of parse through, like, everybody has like 3.5 or 4.5 strikeout props, and nothing is all that appealing. I mean, I guess Blaylock's at 2.5, which is just hilarious to be looking at every single day. But trying to find who's going to pop. I mean, you're just basically taking random guesses across the board. We don't have access to the earlier slate. We could have had a couple of guys that we could have taken shots on, but we're talking about Hunter Brown at 6.5. Brandon Wu, I think, is at 5.5, but juiced heavily towards the over, and then a pile of shit. And so it's just like, okay, if we're going to try to go cheap with SP2s, I gave you my 3 guys. I think that they're by far the best ones to take shots on. If you wanted to go to Will Warren, I guess I really was aggressively mean towards it, but like the splits are what they are. And I just prefer lefty power in Baltimore pretty much every single time. If you have a righty who can't get swing and miss against lefties, it's just what the ballpark sets up to do. Play to your ballpark.
Yeah. Guess we got to take a look at some stacks here,
I suppose.
Before we do,
FanDuel pitcher is interesting because they're at least expensive. Like Garrett Crochet is $11K over there, and you can make the case for guys like, I can't make a case for Clayton Kershaw at 8,300 over on FanDuel, but I'm hand building out a couple of these, and like that's where you could try to get something a little grimy into your life. But like, Robbie Ray's the main guy that I keep landing on. 9,100 for him. The strikeout stuff can pop randomly at times. It's not been nearly as good. It's the Dodgers on the other side. So yeah, there's a lot of things going against him, but like completely zero ownership on the other side. I mean, we're just trying to find ways of getting away from Crochet and Warren. Warren, obviously, I'm not going to be clicking on over on FanDuel, but like,
no,
you have a second favorite for FanDuel? Because Wu and Brown are so expensive that it makes no sense to click on them as opposed to Crochet.
I'm already on. It's Cease here as well. 4% owned, 6.5% chance of a top 1 score. Feels like a pretty relatively safe matchup for him. If he gets in trouble, it's on his own. It's like it's because he did it, I think. Mm-hmm. So much like the DraftKings side, Cease is the guy that I have my eye on here. Sonny Gray is reasonable here at 9K. That's enough of a gap in salary. But I mean, he's pulling more ownership than Cease. So, I just lean Cease.
All right. That's totally fair. I mean, it's hard for me to like really poo-poo the guy that has probably the second best strikeout stuff on the entire slate. Like it's basically Crochet. And then, Jacob Mizrowski as well. I mean, Jacob Mizrowski, that's the whole thing, is like, he has the highest strikeout rate on the slate, but like nobody's playing him because we're all terrified that he's going to only pitch 4 innings any given day. And that's just kind of how Milwaukee's handled him.
Normally, I tell you to do this at the end of the show. I'm going to tell you to do it now so that people remember to hear it, because as of this moment, we have 429 people in the door. Hit the like button if you haven't done it yet. But Eric, tell the people what you've got going on. Where can they find you? What do you do on a day-to-day that they can soak up?
Is that Office Space? What is it that you'd say you do here?
What is it you do?
Which I guess I do every single morning. So there's that. You do too. Just checking in, saying hi. I am doing a lot over on the OddsShopper YouTube channel. You can check out MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks, NFL Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks, which I'm having some issues with some of the graphic stuff on Photoshop. So probably going to be into tomorrow morning if I had to guess for it now. It's been a grind, man. MLB, I have not missed a slate for the entire MLB season, man. Sunday through Thursday, I'm recording that. I'm getting bets in super early. It's been good times. So check that over on the OddsShopper YouTube channel. And then over at Tails, firing off a ton of bets, both free and behind a paywall. You can check that out at the expert page, tails.bet/Lindy. That is tails.bet/Lindy. Would love to see you guys there.
There we go, folks. It is time to talk about stacks. And there is one place and one place only that we need to start. That will be in Colorado. Once again, we have shipped out the Miami Marlins. In come the Angels with an 18.5% top stack odds, double the team in second. And much like it was for the Marlins the past 2 days, the Angels are also the number one value team, leading to an ownership share of 17.5%, not to be undone by their opponents. Colorado, 9% top stack. They're also the second top value, even though they've been playing in Coors. 12% ownership share here. This game is making up 30% of all hitting exposure. What do you want to do with Coors? Yeah. Bradley Blaylock versus Mitch Ferris.
I mean, we have to play this. I don't see a lot of way around not playing it. And then before, again, I did not have Nolan Schanuel in that lineup the whole day last night because, I basically plug and play what I believe the projected lineup will be. There's lots of spots and, just roster resource on Fangraphs. Pretty easy to piece that together every single night. I didn't see Nolan Schanuel. I didn't see any news on him. I didn't see him activated. We didn't get an underdog alert. We didn't get an alert from anybody. And all of a sudden, we have a 3,500 leadoff batter for the Angels in Coors Field. Like, it's just a disaster throwing that in now, too, because, I'm just rerunning everything now. I mean, he's your first click in cash. You're going to play 5 Angels in cash. You're going to probably play a couple of Colorado Rockies in cash, too. I was over on this team before. I'm rerunning right now with all of the updates I had for Schanuel. I got a bet in on him as well. Over 2.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs was like plus 120. I didn't even see him listed today. I mean, this is just a ridiculous spot to be walking into today. I had 30%. I'm scared when I hit this button how much I'm going to get of the Angels as a stack.
As of right now, I have 35% Colorado and 20% of the Angels. I'm going to be walking that back a bit, but I mean, they're going to be filling out everything. Like the Mets are the team that I'm getting to as my non-core stack. But even those lineups are going to have 3-man Colorados, 2-man Angels, whatever sort of mix between them, because the whole damn game is cost effective. Every single person is like one of the best point per dollar plays you're going to find today. Hell, let's look at it. If I run the single lineup simulator right now and just take the optimal, Garrett Crochet, Will Warren, 5-man Angels, Tovar, Doyle. So 7 guys from this game make the optimal, and then Francisco Alvarez makes it in the catcher spot, which is probably not all that surprising. It's just a straight, if you're playing cash games, you're putting Garrett Crochet in your lineup, you're putting this whole game in your lineup, and you're probably ending up on Will Warren and something else. It's just too easy.
It's too easy, and it's just too cost effective. Like, it's just, we can't really do much about it. You play the slate that you're given. And I said yesterday, I was like, this is probably the easiest cash game lineup to roll out ever. This might be the easiest cash game. Well, that was 2 days ago. I said that. This might be the easiest cash game lineup to roll out ever. I mean, I guess the SP2 is maybe more up in flux depending on what you want to do entirely. But I just know that when I save everything here, there's just no way Nolan Schanuel won't be my highest owned batter. There's just not a planet where you don't have him projected as the guy that you get to the most. I'm sure because on our screen right there, I just finished up The Sims, ran it unencumbered, and then I have my own set over here. 41% Nolan Chanuel is how much I got to. So it's just like, it's just an absurd projection nothing you can do to not play him at 3,500. You go on Moncada. Wasn't sure if he was going to be in that lineup. He was dinged up and didn't play the other day. So that was like something that we were actually waiting on. He's batting third today, 4.4K. Just a complete misprice on him as well. Switch hitter in Coors. Like, just play these guys. There's not a lot of reason not to.
Couldn't agree more. Shanuel. What a weird name.
Shanuel.
Sean Owell.
Sean Owell. Play him.
SHAWN -well.
It's like Mad TV Ebonics, like the I'm about to be about this biatch. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Number one value play of anybody we have projected today at plus 3.26. He's the most cost-effective guy that you can get to today.
Wow. It's just who you play. I didn't have him in my lineup all day, reran it. It's a completely different thing for me now. Cause again, I went from 30%. I'm going to have more of them. And part of that is just access to a guy that's looking absurd. You said the Mets are your third favorite stack on the slate. Cause like this, I guess
one of them.
So I'm playing 3 other lineups and I'm trying to like piece together exactly what I want to do with some of these other stacks. I think the Yankees are interesting because they're the Yankees. Trevor Rogers is very good. Toronto against Michael Lorenzen. Some of these props are insane. 2.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs across the board for like Springer, Vlad. They're being a little harsh, I think, on Michael Lorenzen for what it's worth, but like 2.5 going up from 1.5. Anytime you see that kind of transition on bats, you're going to see them at the top of the top stacks tool. Philly against Ryan Nelson, I find to be somewhat appealing as well. Trying to piece together who else I want to get to, but I think my third favorite stack on the entire slate is Arizona. Walker Buehler's terrible. Walker Buehler, I don't know what the Phillies decided that they wanted to take a shot on here. I thought the Dodgers were like odds-on favorites by a mile to come in there and like help out and maybe find an inning or two for him if they actually needed it in the postseason. But like, whatever. If Philly's going to roll him out there, he walks guys. His expected numbers are out of control on both sides. He is specifically giving up crazy amounts of power to righties this season. I don't really see any reason that Walker Buehler should be in the major leagues based on what we've had from him in 2025. I mean, these are just abysmal numbers, Josh. And like no others, like we could do this, I guess, with like 5-6 other stacks if we want to be honest, but like the truly abysmal numbers that you look at for Walker Buehler just stand out in such a way where it's hard for me not to take that shot. Not my favorite ballpark in the entire world, but 217 expected ISO against righties, 169 expected ISO against lefties with no strikeout stuff to either side of it whatsoever. Give me that for Arizona.
Do we want to have a Baltimore conversation on the opposite side of Will Warren?
Yeah, I hope Will Warren's pulling popularity because they're not my like every team is looking distant from what Colorado and LA are, but yeah, I love the Baltimore side of things. We brought up the splits before for Will Warren, and as you said, a lot of red on that side of the screen.
Yeah, we've got some value on Baltimore in Mountcastle, Henderson, and Beavers. Also, shout out to Hundreds of Beavers, the movie. If no one's seen it, check it out. It's good.
Never.
Highly recommended. I mean, $2,600 Kobe Mayo is a solid enough value, pulling 1.5% ownership. Every single hitter in the Baltimore lineup is projected for at least a 12% home run rate. You typically see a couple single digit joints in here. So the other appeal, obviously, is that Will Warren is pulling some ownership. I'm more interested in stacking Baltimore than I am rostering Will Warren.
I am. Oh, for sure I am. And I mean, that was the whole point, is I hope Will Warren actually pulls some ownership, because I would like to get to more Baltimore than the field. I was kind of planning on it, considering I'm not really getting to Will Warren. So completely there with you. Don't really see a path where there's not something that pops from Baltimore, just based on the fact that Will Warren's just a completely different pitcher facing some of these lefties. Like, you don't get these extreme splits very often, like where somebody can be like a 30% plus strikeout arm and then as a sub 20% strikeout arm on the other side. It's just the way that his pitch mix plays and the way that he goes about it. And there is massive blow up potential in a ballpark that is really good for lefty power. I mean, not that Yankee Stadium isn't, but he hasn't exactly been stellar there either.
Yeah. Do we have anybody else? Should I touch on I guess I should touch on the Mets at least a little bit, as they're the team that's popping up the most for me. Obviously, just massive home run potential, whether it's Vientos, Alvarez, Lindor, Pete Alonso, Juan Soto. Lineup's loaded. And I don't find, Alvarez? Yeah, Andrew Alvarez. Couldn't remember his first name. Didn't seem particularly memorable in the research that I did earlier today. Just seems like imminently hittable. Probably has something to do with the fact that he has the second lowest odds of being a top 2 pitcher, and he's giving up a 5.6 run implied total today. They're showing up in everything I run coming out of the Sims. Right now, they're sitting at 3rd in stack score, so the number 1 team that isn't playing in cores, yet their ownership share today, just 4%. I feel like I can buy a lot of power at a very, I don't want to say cheap price, but at a cheap price of ownership.
Totally. And the Mets, I mean, when healthy, they've had some guys who can just absolutely go out and do work. And Andrew Alvarez has been pretty good at limiting power so far, but this is just a completely different ball of wax. And you go to some of his AAA numbers, hasn't been nearly as appealing, but Soto 257 expected ISO still against lefties this season. Ridiculous. Pete Alonso, obviously. Mark Vientos, obviously. But even like a Brandon Nimmo has 7 homers against him. 166 expected ISO, 333 xWOBA, gets on base, does good things. And these guys also, I think they've been running pretty bad in the BABIP category. Like, you look at some of the BABIP numbers for the Mets against lefties, 243 BABIP for Francisco Lindor leading off, 269 BABIP for Pete Alonso. Like, that's who they're going to be with balls in play against an Andrew Alvarez. I got to bring that up. I got to think that there's positive regression due for all of these guys, because like some of their BABIP numbers, specifically, the guys at the top of the lineup, it's just such a wild number to be getting on a quality hitter like Francisco Lindor. And for people who ask me like, oh, why would you care about such things? It's like, hey, there's upside it's just waiting in the wings, untapped, that is just showing up. And so it's nice when you do like fantasy projections, or you're looking at, what we do on a day in, day out basis here at Stokastic. It's like, all right, we're recognizing that this is undervalued. And if you run the Sims unencumbered, they show up more than Colorado does. So like, I totally see what you see with the Mets, what the data's seeing with the Mets. I can't hear you at all. Is that just me?
I muted myself because my dog won't shut the hell up. Yeah.
That's nice.
What
are you doing?
Chat. What are you guys looking at? Is there a team that you guys want us to put through the ringer that you guys are like, I can't believe these morons aren't talking about them? I'd be surprised if there is, but I know you guys are going to name. Usually when I do this on the strategy show, I get 5 messages from 5 people and 5 different teams. There's never a consensus.
It's fair.
I want my dog to shut up so bad, but the moment I put him in his crate, he did not shut up at all.
It's cute. Dogs are the best, though, man. Dogs are the best.
Cleveland, Brewers, Toronto. You guys planning this? Giants, Texas, D-backs, Rays, Texas, Toronto, Boston, Arizona, Cleveland, Toronto. That's a lot of Toronto. Is that the one we need? You touched on them already a bit, right?
Toronto, yeah. They're ridiculous in props. Like, they're pretty much, their props are basically under or pass where they're at, but they're high. We'll just put it that way. You go to the hits plus runs plus RBIs market, you get some guys that are not expensive in like a Nathan Lukes that you can mix and match in the 2-hole. Davis Schneider's been in that lineup pretty routinely as well, sub 4K. Addison Barger, we know that upside can be against Michael Lorenzen. Varsho, same thing. Like, you have expensive bats for sure that make it harder to like just do the 1 through 5 if you're like omitting a Lukes or something and go into like the other core guys. But like, it's still a pretty accessible stack against Michael Lorenzen and some of the better hitting weather that we're going to have out there. North of 75 degrees at first pitch in Kansas City, and looks like decent barometric pressure. So like, yeah, I think Kansas City is one of those spots that like might have better weather than some other spots that we're talking about here on the slate.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what would be the other consensus answer here. It's a lot of Toronto answers. Couple. That's enough D-backs that I feel like we probably need to touch on it. I think. Yeah, Arizona. Let's see. They are, just for the people to hear it. Whoops. Keep clicking on my own name. There we go. 5th in stack score behind the Mets and Toronto, and obviously all of the Rockies Angels game. 5% top stack, 4% top value, 6% ownership. We talked about how Walker Buehler exceptionally blows. It's a couple, like Blaze Alexander's never fun. There's still plenty of power in this lineup if you want to get to an Arizona stack. I hate the double catcher, but I don't mind it. I don't
mind him. I like him a lot. I thought Arizona would be like potentially my second eye. It's like I generally like Arizona a lot more than the field does. It's not a great ballpark with the roof closed. Got off to a ridiculous start this season because the roof was open for basically 2 months until like the end of May, which never happens in Arizona. But I very much like Gabriel Moreno being back in this lineup for the last couple of weeks. Just a better hitting option than what we've had up there previously. Adrian Del Castillo, he's the guy pulling the most ownership. I actually bet him to hit a homer plus 825. So I kind of like that look. They're just so damn cheap against Walker Buehler. And obviously Ketel Marte is dinged up. I will say I'm probably the most nervous about Ketel Marte to some extent. But yeah, I love the Corbin Carroll piece. Geraldo Perdomo, if we'd all just bet his home run every single day, we'd all be rich. But we don't do that because we're stupid. So that's cool. He's got to be the guy who's the highest ROI home run hitter of the entire season. Like, and I don't think it's remotely close. Like, not close.
It feels like it is, right?
He's like plus 1,200 for a majority of the season. And I think he got to 20 homers already. I think he's there.
Which is bonkers.
Yeah, he's like plus 900 again today. He's plus 900 again today.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just wanted to say that shout out Perdomo for being Perdomo, dude. He's 19 homers, 852 OPS, and is sitting there with like absolute just cash. You'd be piling up cash if you played him on every single slate.
Did you think about betting him all the time?
I did. Well, I said that like a month and a half ago, and then I bet him for like a week and a half, and he never hit. And then he started doing it immediately after I hit the eject button, where I'm like, dude, I'm routinely betting a guy who he doesn't have the best hard hit data, but like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. And he would routinely be somebody who was like popping to some extent. But like, if you start betting every single plus 1,000 guy every single day that you have positive expected value to, get ready for a bad run that's going to sink you into oblivion. So I try to be a little bit cautious. I don't have like this endless eternity amount of bankroll that I can fire up every single day to kind of negate those swings. If I want to play, like people who play a unit on each home run, man, you are much braver than me because, I'll put $50 most I'll put on like an individual home run. And it already kind of like makes me feel ridiculous when it's like a plus 750 guy. And I'm like, oh, but his edge is this, but he's still got like an 80% chance of not hitting a home run. And you're going to eat the bullet a lot in some of those spots. So you have to be in it for the long haul for certain things. And for me, I've just found it most effective to trim down unit sizing. And then I never have that stress. I never have like the bad, like I know a bad stretch is going to come at some point, and you have to just kind of be able to embrace it and understand what your goals are. So like just talking about it from a betting perspective, that's how I feel. If Detroit loses tonight, I'm going to freak out. Yeah, Detroit should be freaking out. Cleveland is on a war path right now. I bet them at plus money today if anybody's interested. But yeah, just finishing up our lineup site. Cleveland's cheap for the most part outside of Jose Ramirez, obviously. But Pablo Lopez, once he leaves the game, you get the Twins bullpen. That's the most appealing part of facing the Twins right now. I'll keep saying it over and over and over again. You have tons of upside 6 through 9. 6 through 9, every inning that you get to face the Twins bullpen is revelatory for the opposition right now.
I was waiting out a sim run. We updated ownership at 645. So I'm going to sim this out and show everybody what's coming out of these bad boys if you don't touch a damn thing. And spoiler alert, it's a lot of Garrett Crochet, Will Warren, the Mets, and Coors.
I am so shocked. That's amazing.
Well, I'm sure now that I'll run it, it's just going to be like fucking Andrew Anderson or whatever the hell the dude's name is from the Nats.
Will Anderson or whatever. Yeah, made up players are showing up more and more every single day. Going to like Fangraphs and pulling PCL data and then trying to trim it down and find something. Again, it's nice to just take Zip Steamer and move on with your day a majority of the time, but like I like to get granular with that. I like to dive in and from time to time and kind of make my own little adjustments. But yeah, there's certain ways of going about it. 95% Garrett Crochet is a lot of Garrett Crochet.
It is. I don't think it's crazy. I would in 150 set, I bring it down a hair. I don't in any way love 25% Will Warren either. So me personally, I'd knock Crochet down like 10%. It wouldn't really affect him too much. I would knock down Will Warren quite a bit. I would bump Cease. I would bump Mizorowski. I would bump Clayton Kershaw. And then stack exposures for everybody. Mets, Angels, Cleveland now. Coming into that third spot, which is new. They're the fourth most exposed team coming out of the Sims behind the Angels, the Mets, and the Toronto Blue Jays. Colorado starting to slip down the rank.
Interesting. That's interesting to me. I mean, Colorado sucks, so it's not, I suppose, that surprising. But yeah, I mean, they're bringing a lefty out and Mickey Moniak to face a lefty there. You've got all righties, the rest of the lineup. I'm just saying, it's obviously a good spot, but I suppose it's just simply what does the ownership end up being here? And we're projecting some guys for some ownership today. That is for damn sure.
Sure are. I just made my boost tweaks to the pitching side. I want to see what the impact ended up being. Just like a quick glance change. Brought Crochet down a tick. Yeah,
I'm at 83%.
Certainly brought Will Warren down to neutral. Bumped Cease. Probably a little bit more Ryan Nelson, Walker Buehler, Brandon Sproat than I want, but got some Mizorowski. It's tough to get to too much Kershaw, but did sneak up over the field. It's a pretty big spread. It's basically Crochet and every combination of everybody else you can get.
I mean, the Sproat goat. What are we doing?
That had to be a tough one growing up.
I can't imagine that I'm the first person who's ever said that.
No, I bet he's been hearing that for years and years. And if he hasn't, his friends suck. Because if you were my friend, brother, you would have heard it the first day I heard it.
Yeah, if I talk shit to you, it means I like you. That's generally how I go about living my life. And, I end up being the target, I think, in my friend group more and more. Or, I don't know, maybe at my place of employment from time to time, too. But
I have never picked on anyone ever verbally.
You're just so kind. It's the first thing people say when they talk about Josh Engelman. It's just what a calming influence and what a soft-spoken individual you are.
That's what people that don't know me would explain me as if they met me for the first time in a casual setting. Every day you get more of me, you get more of me. And that's usually a rare, that's not a benefit to most. But right out of the gate, I'm good. Once I understand your boundaries, I will push up against them.
It's nice of you. Oh, it's a good way to live your life, my friend. Oh, it's good stuff.
All right, chat. We're going to build some single lineups. as we close this one out down the stretchy here, I think the first thing that we should try to do, just because it's interesting, is to build one without Garrett Crochet.
Yes.
Who would you like to be the pay-up du jour pitcher here?
So without Garrett Crochet, it's not going to sim well. So we got to embrace that part of it first. But I'll go to your guy, Dylan Cease. I ended up going to his side of things. I've made it known that I mean, what happened to Brian Woo's ownership is the main question. Like, he's now
gone.
What? No, he's popular. Wasn't he just popular a second ago when I looked at it?
15.
He's the second most popular pitcher on the slate.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, he's sorry. What I was saying is, to me, he's gone. Like, yeah. I don't want him if he's going to be the second most owned guy and the second most expensive guy.
Agreed. And I love him. Woo, woo, woo. Brian Woo. I give him the Mighty Ducks 2 treatment every single time I talk about him. I love him. Bless you. And then also, God, I mean, Cease and Kershaw are not going to sim well at all, but that's what I want to do.
No, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see what it looks like. We got to figure out what team we want to go to here. I'm expecting we'll complete the lineup with optimals, and I think we'll fill out with Angels and Rockies. But if we're picking one team, who's that going to be?
Oh, boy. Let's try. I mean, Angels, Colorado. Let's go to Cleveland. Cleveland's just kind of shown up more and more and more. You get a lot of salary relief with them. Not that we really need it playing Cease and Kershaw without Crochet in there, but like Jose Ramirez, Steven Kwan, Kyle Manzardo, Bo Naylor as a catcher. CJ Kayvis ends up being a guy that they really, really like. He started to show out a little bit of that power profile, but Gabriel Arias I had as a pretty positive EV home run today as well, but didn't end up playing it in the end.
Well, I popped him in here. Leaves us the second baseman and 2 outfielders and $4,400 per spot. I could see a scenario where we end up with 2 dudes from like Colorado and the Angels, and like Ohtani ends up in here.
Agreed. We could definitely have that.
Well, I mean, that wasn't going to work for the way this was set up, but Trout, Doyle, Freeman. So 2-man Colorado, 1-man Angels, and it is the man. Let's see how we look here. Because the ownership is minimal, but we have given up some points. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Not surprised.
No, not surprised at all. I think
we gotta click the Crochet piece first. Anything without Crochet is not going to sim well, period.
Want to bet?
Okay, show it to me. I would love to see.
The czar is here, folks.
All right, show me. I would love for you to show me what we can do. Any stack, any team that we can get above 20% without Crochet.
Done. It's about to happen right now.
I mean, now we're going to... Okay. So confident. So confident.
This is going to be like 54.
15.
34. I'll take it.
Mother effer. All right. In the middle. Well done. Well done.
Dude, the czar is in the building, man. I am the crown prince of this joint.
You're the Sprout goat of this operation.
Look, if I could start an OnlyFans to be the Sprout goat, I'd do it.
Anything for $1, baby. Anything for $1.
All right, we're gonna go Crochet. Do we want to pay down or pay up?
Let's go. I mean, let's go the double expensive and see, because it should be pretty easy to go with Cease, your boy Cease, Garrett Crochet Cease. And let's do the Angels one where we try to just go completely nuclear. I'm looking at some of my top lineups here. I mean, the Mets were the first 4 of my top 150, or first 4 of my top 5 there. I look at some of these other spots and like, gotta be, yeah, let's do Angels 5-man and then just have like I'm trying to think of like, you could do the complete lineup too and just go that direction.
Well, we get Jose Siri, Andres Jimenez, and Weston Wilson, 8-hole, 8-hole, 9-hole.
Yeah.
We picked up the projection quite a bit, but we are also eating all of the ownership. Thank you to the Angels. We didn't have a ton of salary left over. We could probably put together a more cost-effective Angel stack, but we still knocked it out of the park. We can bump that Angels one up by being a little bit more cost effective in piecing together that Angels stack. So I'm going to sort by value instead. So we'll get Chenul, Christian Moore, Moncada. I'm going to leave Joe Adell out. We're going to look for a full outfield, save for Mike Trout. Shortstop, 2 outfielders, 2,900, still quite a bit, but Tovar, Siri, Osuna. I certainly like the I like getting not the ass end of 3 separate lineups.
Hell yeah, brother.
Man,
Hell
62 and a half.
Oh, the Sprout goat. He gets it done again. This guy.
I'm just the best at sprouting.
They want to see a FanDuel lineup too. They want to see a FanDuel lineup.
Should we build it with Sprout?
With the Sprout goat, absolutely. Why not? Only one.
All right, Sprout in at 9,200. What a fucking terrible price.
Oh man. We're trying to trim ownership here. I think on FanDuel, where's this at here?
I think this is the Mets, maybe.
Yeah, this is a good Mets spot. It's also a good, if we wanted to go to the Toronto build against Lorenzen, they are pulling no ownership on FanDuel. Absolutely none. A couple Arizona piece. Oh, just one Arizona piece. That's fine. Jake McCarthy.
Reminder, this is Sprout, but we'll check out the Toronto one on this next one. I had to test the Mets because they were just showing up when I sorted them. FanDuel is like Bigfoot to me. Yeah, negative 13. Not surprised. That probably has a lot to do with Sprout.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit of a problem, the Sprout goat.
Okay, let's try Toronto with an actual real pitcher. Who would you want to have as the guy? Do we just go Crochet?
Yeah, click Crochet, eat the chalk for it for right now. And then Toronto, they are a little less accessible there again, but 3%, and they're a 4th most likely team to break this slate. So I like Barger, I like Varsho, I like Vladdy, I like Kirk, I like Springer, I like anybody you want to throw in there. It's hard to put together a bad Toronto lineup that I won't like.
I got Vlad, Barger, Varsho, Kirk right now. Let's see what the complete this lineup gives us. Christian Moore, Trout, 2-man Angels, Madroth, and welcome back, Jose Siri. Let's see how this looks on the FanDuel.
Everything. He's going to get pinch hit for at some point in this game, so that's cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't have him there. Ooh, not too shabby. 45.7. I'd like to do this without getting Jose Siri.
Okay.
So I'm just going to try to find an outfielder that I think looks good, because Siri's the top value guy. But if we take somebody else, like Starling Marte, slightly lesser value, better hitter, higher up in the order. I'm just going to lock him in and see if it still gives me Siri in that last spot.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. So I'm going to pick another outfielder. I guess I kind of want to take somebody from the Mets if I'm going to take Marte there, but there's no one in the value path that I like. Kind of feels like I want to go to Trout.
Okay.
But that's also, we're taking on a 30% owned guy, which I guess we could probably afford to do. That'll kick Siri out. Gives us Arias. Okay, so we get a leadoff hitter and a 2-hole hitter at very minimal ownership. So the only ownership that we're taking on in this lineup is Mike Trout and Garrett Crochet. I'm a little curious how it looks. This is going to be the final thing we do before we get out of here.
I'm going to love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Pretty darn good. We'll take it. We'll take it. These are good things.
All righty, guys. Slate is going to be locking in 5 minutes. I think we've taken a real nice path through this bad boy on the pitching side, the hitting side, built a bunch of lineups, simmed a bunch of lineups. We'll have NFL for the weekend. I know you guys aren't going to want to miss it. Lofty and I dropped our NFL Week 3 perfect lineup video earlier today. Go check that out on this YouTube channel. Bonus lineup built on Lofty's Tails account as well. I assume you can get to Tails from a link in the description of this video, but if not, go to OddsShopper.com. You'll get there very quickly. Am I missing anything? You got anything else you want to plug?
Nope. I'm ready to rock. We've got week 3 NFL. Yeah. Well, live before lock on Sunday. So it has been just an awesome start to the season. A lot of people tuning in, a lot of people kicking it. Love doing the show with Spags as well. It's been really, really good time. So check that out Sunday. And Josh will not, because football sucks in his world, but that is all right. You know what? We love you all the same. NBA will be here very soon.
Yeah, I got a way more interesting weekend, like by a mile, because tomorrow I got the Merseyside Derby at Liverpool, 7:30 a.m. Eat shit, Everton. That's all I got to say. Hit the like button on your way out the door, and happy birthday to Eric Lindquist.
Thank you.
Happy quinceañera.